You're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers, brought to you by the Cork and Stogie, 1218 Duval Street, Key West, Florida. The facts and opinions of the show and its staff are prone to exaggeration, error, and conjecture, and are often given under the influence, always given under the influence of drinking beer. After all, this is a beer show. It's about beer, and we are busily drinking it while discussing its merits, so what did you expect? Slurring, laughing loudly, name-calling, and belching are par for the course, so it's best if you imbibe with us in a responsible manner, just to get into the spirit. We always welcome your comments, whether we actually pay attention to them or not. Thanks for listening.
Hey! Prost.
Cheers.
Cheers. Far away from the computer.
Nostrovi.
Nostrovi.
Salute. All the languages we can get. Thank you. Welcome to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers. My name's Key West Chris, and I'm your host.
I'm Dani Hoy.
I'm Dave Senior.
Cowboy Mark.
And Mark brought a beer to us via a friend of his tonight. So we're going to do a quick review. Not a quick review. We're going to do a review of that. Mark, why don't you introduce us to this beer?
All right, this is the Citra Hero India Pale Ale from Revolution Brewing. And this beer was donated to us via my financial advisor, Emily Brulette, who lives here in Key West, but is a frequent flyer. Wow. She's a financial advisor to the stars, if you will.
That's why she's your financial advisor.
Yeah, because I'm a rock star.
That's right. You're on Key West Beer Tales. I mean, what more could you ask?
Right?
I looked this beer up online, by the way, so I got details of it also.
Hit me with some details, Danny.
Well, it's an American IPA, and they use we're trying to figure this out exactly how it's worded. They utilize 2-row pale ale, red wheat, and Belgian aromatic malts.
So that's
deep golden color.
So that's the variety of barleys that they use in red wheat, and that's cool. That's really dynamic. That's the first one I think that we've had that's ever had red wheat in it on the radio,
that doesn't
on the
sound
show.
familiar.
The funny thing is that they list 2-row as a malt in itself, which kind of struck. Unless they're just using that as a straight grain.
Well, I mean, so you know the difference between 2,
of course,
6,
yeah.
So
let's for the folks, let's explain it.
All right, so barley grows in a variety of different rows.
Rows being the way the seeds on the barley corn are.
Yeah, it's 2 rows or 6 rows, and the 6 row is kind of a star formation, whereas the 2-row looks more like an X formation.
And the 2-row is the finer quality.
Yeah, it's debatable, but it depends on what beer you're making.
Okay.
The 6-row works better in certain beers, and the 2-row works better in other beers. The 2-row has a higher sugar/carbohydrate content, and the 6-row has a lesser content. So if you're going to go something you want more grainy in taste, you're going to go with the 6-row. And if you want something that's a little bit more refined in taste, you're going to go with the 2-row.
Okay, good. Danny, do they mention which type of hops they're using this? I didn't ask.
Well, it's called the Citra Hero. I'm guessing that they use Citra.
It actually is. It says multiple editions of Citra.
Okay.
In the brew kettle. Yeah.
So that's not dry hopped. It's wet hopped, and I get that on the palate. This was actually really good.
Actually, if I may interject.
Please interject.
There's another paragraph. It says, after primary fermentation with our English ale yeast, we dry hopped with 1 pound per barrel of Citra once again to really load this ale up with a burst. Can you believe this?
One? Because it doesn't, I mean, like, all right, so go on.
So it gives it a burst of fresh citrus fruit. So they're saying multiple additions of Citra in the brew kettle, so that's the wet, right?
Yeah. So that's, I mean, they probably do like 3 to 6 different additions. So that means at various different times throughout the brewing process, they're adding hops.
Yeah.
And then then after that primary fermentation, they dry hopped with 1 pound per barrel of Citra once again.
So a barrel is 55 gallons.
Okay.
And 1 pound of hops added to a 55-gallon barrel.
You know,
that's insane.
This is why there's a shortage of hops in the country right now.
because of this beer.
Well, the IBUs on this are what?
85.
85. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
That strikes me as a little high, but I mean, I
Definitely.
don't doubt it. I mean, like,
Yeah,
this is the thing. What I think that resonates with me is that this beer is actually just extremely well balanced between the wheat and the barley and the hops. I think it's a really great beer, actually.
It's actually pretty outstanding.
Yeah, it's very nice. Now, the beer I had before this, and I had it like a swig before this. I had a very dark, mellow beer.
What was the Bell's Porter, right?
No, I had the Founders.
Oh, the Founders
Yeah.
Scotch Ale.
Scotch Ale, which is
Dirty
a
Bastard.
very, very smooth beer. So going from that to this, it was, it was definitely very sharp on the palate.
Yeah, I'm
which
sure.
is to be expected. So if someone was coming into this with a natural palate, it would be probably more balanced than I'm getting it. We are at the Cork and Stogie, by the way, at 1218 Duval Street.
Sunny Key-
Here in sunny Key West, Florida.
That's why we live here.
That's
Sunday,
right.
Sunday, Sunday.
Sunday.
Bigfoot.
Actually, I was having a Warsteiner before this. Now,
Yeah.
So I had a Warsteiner October, a fest beer.
Yeah.
And so this doesn't seem as a big,
Right, yeah.
No, I
a
could see
change.
how sharp of a difference that would be from the Scotch Ale
Oh,
to this. I mean,
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
a bit puckery. Like,
pronounced.
It was.
Puckery.
so yeah, I only had a glass of red wine before this, so
Oh, okay.
it was like this is actually very subtle in comparison to that wine.
It's surprising.
Well, the more I'm drinking
yeah.
it, the more balanced out it gets.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
my palate adjusts. Yeah.
And I want to say, hey, I know this means nothing to anybody out in Radio Land, but I'd like to commend Dave on being as vigilant he has about that one cooler in the corner there. I mean, like, this was the perfect temperature. It's absolutely the perfect temperature.
Did you find that one corner that everything would be like super perfect?
I did.
This was in the cooler that you used to get an electric shock from once a week.
Once a week, right
Once a
before
week.
the radio show, I would have to unplug it because it was so loud.
It's
Yeah,
Frankensteinian.
but
Yeah.
we got that fixed,
Steinian.
fortunately.
And
Steinian.
Frankenstein, please.
Frankensteinian.
Steen. Anyway, back to the beer. So a lot of IPAs, I wouldn't really have any. I don't have real good pairings with because most of the ones that we do on the show are so big that they kind of stand alone. This one, on the other hand, although it is very big, but it's only 7.5, I think, right?
Yeah, 7.5.
Yeah. Okay. This would go great with like a steak, something red meaty, you know.
I can see that.
Like a venison. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's something that would stand up to the.
yeah, like a medium rare venison steak. Oh God,
Where do you get a medium rare venison steak in Key West?
nowhere.
They don't have it at Fausto's, do they?
I seriously doubt it.
They've had venison there, but I think the venison they had there was ground.
Yeah, a lot of
in
time.
the frozen section.
Yeah, a lot of time it's ground, and venison is normally ground with mixed in with pork as well.
Oh, really?
Because venison is so lean.
It's lean,
It's
yeah.
really hard to
Yeah.
cook in the ground state. Because it's so lean, it does make for a great steak.
It's fabulous.
Oh, just absolutely
Unbelievable.
fabulous. And I don't know, Dave, I don't know if this was a thing where in Ohio when you were living up there.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like venison steaks in the Northeast, or like, in New York City, I'm like, this is the time. This is like venison steak time. It's
Portions of Ohio shut down a week at a time because of deer season. So, it's big, definitely big in Ohio.
Yeah.
But it's usually the big season comes starts the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
when a lot of auto shops, body shops shut down
yeah.
for that
Really?
week. Oh, yeah.
They shut down
go-
because it's deer season.
It's
Yeah.
time to
They're
go.
gone.
They're all gone.
They're
hunting.
all gone.
They all gone hunting.
Yeah.
Gone
Time to go
hunting.
to deer
It's
camp.
deer season. Yeah.
It's deer season.
As soon as the meal's done, honey, I'm packing and I'm gone, and they're out to their deer camps, and the liquor stores stay open late.
Yes.
Oh, deer season, guns, liquor stores open late.
It's beer season.
May I say, America, America.
So we used to have and Rick, our friend Rick and
Yep,
Rita,
yep.
they know this gentleman. His name is Peter Perfect, and Peter Perfect owned is that's what his name was. And he
You live in Key West. Come
and-
on,
and
silly made up last names. Come on.
and he owned a slaughterhouse for the deer. He processed a lot of the deer meat for these people, and he's just a strange individual. And it was called Perfect's Meat Market.
Perfect.
Perfect. It was perfect. And this guy could dress the deer better than anybody, and everybody went to him. And it was a line out the door waiting for their deer to get processed. So yes, I do know that. And Peter always bought a car after deer season.
Oh, I'm sure he did. With a line around the block.
Yeah, an S-Class Mercedes, right?
Again, so that was the Citra Hero from Revolution Brewing Company out of Chicago, Illinois. This brewery is really, really awesome. I've only had one other of their beers before, and it was the Galaxy Hero, and I can't remember what style it was, but it was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw that come up.
And everybody that I know that is from this area is like, oh, the Revolution is actually, that's the one brewery from Chicago. I mean, I guess since the mighty downfall of never mind.
Well,
never mind.
That's also an IPA.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, Galaxy Hero is an American IPA. It's slightly less alcohol and slightly less bitter.
well, what I noticed on the label Mark, when you were holding it about 4 feet from me, the light was hitting it specifically. It looked like holograms, and I grabbed the bottle, and there's no holograms on it. But
No.
But the other beer you mentioned in
label's
this
fun.
beer, so there has some cartoon sexual overtones here.
Yes.
So,
but it's also, I mean, like it's the hop-headed woman
yeah,
portrayed on the label here.
yes.
She is scantily clad and
But shaped
well
in
endowed.
a superhero style.
Superhero style.
Yeah, it's like a
Hero.
comic book.
Yeah.
She's taming an octopus.
I think that's a hop plant, Dave.
This animal here?
Hoptopus.
It's
A hoptopus?
Well,
a
hops
hop.
Hops are vines, Dave.
Yes.
They grow them in vines.
So
it's
she's
much-
taming the hop vine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
I like the
I
hoptopus.
can see that. She's a, and,
No comment.
and so you're thank you again to
Emily. Yeah.
Emily.
Yeah.
Emily. Yeah. So,
She comes in here. She comes into the bar.
Okay.
Great gal.
So and there's a lot of galactic.
Yeah.
Galactic going on.
All of their
here.
beers are kind of very
Yeah.
otherworldly.
The other beer we mentioned uses Zithos hops, which I don't think we've ever had Zithos hops.
Not on the show.
Not in the show.
We had a
Oh, they also
Right.
have an anti-hero IPA.
yes. The anti-hero is very good, is from what I read.
Thank you, Emily.
Fist City. There's all kinds of and like the art I'm seeing through the listings is really pretty cool. They have a selection of a whole bunch that are just fists of different kinds.
Yeah, their tap handles are like
yeah.
coup
d'etat.
the forearm and fist. That's
Crystal
their
Hero.
tap handle.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Great idea.
Yeah, coup d'etat.
Well, I think the
Nice.
Revolution is where the fist comes from.
Yeah.
Oh, that would make sense.
The raised fist Revolution.
I used to live in a part of Brooklyn that they called Fist City.
Well,
Yeah,
because
you would get punched
oh man.
How many times did you get punched?
a lot.
And how about, were you ever dishing out the punching?
I fought back every time.
Oh, yeah.
There was
You
a couple
didn't
times.
initiate.
No, never. No. I'm not that
You
kind
weren't
of a
an
guy.
instigator.
I'm just, I know you're not. I just want to establish
He's
that
a
for,
lover, not
for
a
our
fighter.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like we and it was just a short couple of blocks, but it was the couple of blocks that between my apartment and the subway stop. So
Give me your lunch money.
there was definitely some chasings. I definitely got chased.
That's the real world.
That's the real world.
Well, I would like to say this about this beer. Again, when I started off, I had